A judge just said something no prosecutor ever wants to hear. It feels like indict first, investigate second. Those 7 words have now put the U.S. Department of Justice under rare and intense judicial scrutiny. Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, make sure to hit that subscribe button and tap like to stay updated on all major legal and political stories. Now, here's what's happening in Washington. Legal pressure is ramping up around the indictment of former FBI Director James Comey, who has pleaded not guilty to charges of making false statements and obstruction of justice. This case began after a grand jury process overseen by the U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of Virginia. But it's now drawing serious questions from the federal bench itself. The first court hearing was supposed to be routine, just a procedural step mainly focused on the defense team's objections to evidence gathered through search warrants on a third party. But the tone of the session changed fast. Magistrate Judge William Fitzpatrick raised serious doubts about whether prosecutors jumped the gun. He openly questioned whether the constitutional safeguards, like full evidence disclosure, had been properly respected. According to sources in the courtroom, the message was unmistakable. The prosecution may have moved too fast. Judge Fitzpatrick then issued a strong order. He told the Department of Justice to hand over all grand jury materials and any related evidence tied to Comey's indictment. The deadline is Thursday, with full compliance required by Friday. Unless the DOJ can show legitimate technical issues preventing them from meeting it, orders like this, requiring full disclosure so early in a federal case, are extremely rare. But Judge Fitzpatrick made it clear: transparency comes first. Defense lawyers argue that the government might have delayed or even withheld evidence that could help their client, what's known as Brady material, meaning information favorable to the defense. Under U.S. law, prosecutors are legally required to turn over that kind of material to guarantee due process and a fair trial. In response, the Department of Justice said it will fully comply with the judge's directive. The trial is currently scheduled for early January, and some legal experts believe this timeline could actually benefit the defense. With this unusually early access to evidence, Comey's legal team now has more time to examine every document, every communication, and every action that led to the indictment. But this case isn't just drawing attention in Virginia. In a surprising development, Judge Curry in South Carolina has issued her own order calling for transparency connected to the same investigation. That means 2 separate judges in 2 different states are demanding full disclosure from the government over the same set of events, a situation that legal historians say is extremely rare. Adding to the significance, Judge Fitzpatrick himself once served as a federal prosecutor in the same district where this indictment was filed. That background gives his comments added credibility and institutional weight. Legal observers stress that his criticism isn't about politics, it's about procedure. He's raising concerns over how the justice system itself is operating, not who's being prosecuted. Meanwhile, the case continues against the backdrop of deep national political divides, where debates over prosecutorial independence and government accountability dominate headlines. Still, inside the courtroom, the focus is much narrower and far more technical. The questions being asked are fundamental. Were proper procedures followed? Was the evidence handled lawfully? And most importantly, were the defendant's constitutional rights protected? Those are the issues the court will now decide. The Department of Justice faces a fast-approaching Thursday deadline, with final compliance expected by Friday. The defense, on the other hand, now moves forward with a clear advantage: full visibility into evidence that's rarely seen this early in a federal case. 2 federal judges have now made one thing unmistakably clear: this trial will test the process itself. Every filing, every action, and every disclosure will be measured by one guiding principle: the rule of law. Whatever the verdict may be, one truth has already been reinforced. In the American justice system, no institution is above scrutiny, and even the most powerful agencies can be called into open court to justify every step they take.